I am here to talk about colostrum. Um, as Kevin mentioned, I have written many books. My undergraduate degree is in scientific and technical writing, so fresh out of college, I began writing. Um, I worked for a major nutrition company in North Dakota. Yes, North Dakota, where I was born. And colostrum was, I had to think back, I believe it was my third or fourth book. It originally came out in approximately, I'm thinking 1989, and it has been revised several times. And we do have books available somewhere at lunchtime and after the event. So please come find me. I will sign them for you. But in it, it is titled Colostrum, Nature's Gift to the Immune System. And I do believe that it is a gift from God. Colostrum, for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, colostrum is first milk. It is known as mother's milk, but specifically colostrum is the first milking. Soon after the first milking, it changes into, it's called transitional milk, and then it converts into 100% milk. All of the most potent immunofactors, immunoglobulins, are in the colostrum, and in nature, if the newborn, whether it be a calf or a deer, whatever, does not receive that colostrum, it will most likely not survive. There is, so I've been interested in colostrum, like I said, since the late 80s, and it has been a part of my interest for, since then. And in researching colostrum, it was like the light bulb went on, because I'm understanding that, okay, if an animal in nature does not survive without its colostrum, maybe this explains why I have so many health problems, because I did not receive colostrum as an infant. Back in the 60s, breastfeeding was just not a very high priority. And because of the family situation, none of myself or my siblings were breastfed. That was just simply sort of normal back in the 60s. As a result, I suffered from tremendous immunocompromise. I had severe asthma, life-threatening asthma, anaphylactic shock, severe environmental illness, tons and tons of food allergies, grass allergies, pollen allergies. I was allergic to every tree, every grass, every flower, absolutely everything. I was allergic to the earth, essentially. Allergy shots did nothing. I kind of was, my mother kept me in a very sterile environment. My brothers had similar problems, but they seemed to grow out of theirs where I didn't. And in college, I became extremely frustrated. And I'm thinking there has to be a better way. This is not God's plan for my life, to live in a bubble. And I spent very little time outside. I ran around with in inhalers in all my coat pockets and every drawer in the house. I was on tons of medications, which I despised because of course, they had side effects. One particular drug was called theophylline, which is a caffeine derivative. I had to take it every 12 hours, which meant I was taking it before bedtime. So I literally felt like I lived my whole life not sleeping, because I felt like I just drank 4 cups of coffee before I went to bed. But it helped me breathe, and I could not stop taking it. If I tried to stop, I would immediately tighten up if I went to about hour 13 or 14. And then I was reaching for my inhalers, which gave me headaches. It was not fun. So this light bulb moment, when I realized how different would my life have been, if I would have received that colostrum. So of course I began to supplement it. And through my research, I have been able to overcome a lot of my health problems. My hives are gone, my eczema's gone, and through other means, I've been now completely healed of all of my health problems. I give credit to God. I don't take any credit for myself. But because of this, I'm sharing this journey because it is truly my passion to help other people. Because I don't believe that we are designed to be sick. I don't care if you're young or if you're old. We have a purpose to be here, and we need to live our life the way God has planned our life to be. Not to be sick, not to be stuck inside and not living life to its fullest. But we're going to talk more about colostrum, enough about me. But, you know, so I am very passionate. After a season of, I worked in Fargo for 5 years, and then I moved to Orange County, where the health business was absolutely booming. And I had lots of work as a researcher, as a writer, as a product developer for companies. And that is when I went back to school to get my master's and PhD in nutrition, because I could see the value in it. I could see the improvements in my own life and how important it was. But colostrum is not only our first food, but it's also our first medicine. When we are born, we do not have a fully developed immune system, nor even a fully developed digestive system. And when we receive the colostrum from our mothers, and thankfully, the colostrum from one animal is transferable to another. You've seen cute little pictures how a cat adopts, you know, abandoned baby squirrel, or a dog adopts abandoned, you know, wet cat or whatever it is. But so the aminofactors in colostrum are transferable from one mammal to another. That is why the bovine colostrum, it's why we can benefit, even though it's not human colostrum, it's actually bovine colostrum. So what the colostrum does is, number one, it activates our immune system. We have receptor points in our mouth, and that is one of the first points for our immune system activation as soon as we put it in our mouth. So when you take the powder, for example, you really want to hold it in your mouth. You don't want to guzzle it down. You want to give it time to activate those receptors. And then it creates a chain reaction in the whole body to tell your body that, you know, for immune system response to be activated. Our immune system is so important. I do not have enough time to talk about how all the aspects of the immune system, but I will point on a few things. So number one, what colostrum does is it activates our immune system. It also supports our immune system and regulates our immune system. Some of the major components in colostrum, for example, would be lactoferrin. Lactoferrin is found in our bodies naturally. It's in our tears, it's in our nasal fluids, it's in our mouth, it's in our stomach lining, and it's produced there. And so a boost of lactoferrin that we can receive from the colostrum is highly advantageous. It's also extremely anti-inflammatory. We are bombarded with inflammation in today's society. We have sugar, we have grains, we have chemicals, we have processed foods, we have all sorts of things that we are exposed to that are highly, highly inflammatory. And if you look at the new research on heart disease, for example, which is still our number one killer, inflammation is now known to be the cause of heart disease. Has nothing to do with cholesterol, has nothing to do with all kinds of other things. It's actually inflammation which is created by free radicals, which was spoken about earlier today. It's kind of a big circle of inflammation. The free radicals cause inflammation, which then causes the plaque buildup, loss of circulation, and so anytime we can put more anti-inflammatory agents into our system, we are helping reduce all kinds of diseases. We have allergies and asthma, which I've mentioned, of course, eczema, hay fever. Many infections are also involved with inflammation. Cancer, of course. We've got candida, chronic sinusitis, chronic fatigue, flu, cold and flu. A lot of the extremely unpleasant symptoms that are associated with just those bacterial and flu viruses are inflammatory related. All kinds of dental problems, diabetes. And if you're questioning, well, what does diabetes have to do with inflammation? Inflammation causes insulin resistance. And that is probably a term that you're a little bit more familiar with, because the insulin resistance is what causes our blood sugars to spike. And then when it's not responding to, when we produce the insulin, but the blood sugars don't respond to that, that's called insulin resistance. And then we end up with type 2 diabetes. All kinds of food poisonings, fibromyalgia, heart disease, as I mentioned, lupus, multiple sclerosis, ulcers, rheumatoid arthritis, weight loss also, again, due to the insulin resistance. And also, there's just, it's a very long list of health problems that are either directly or indirectly associated with inflammation. So, besides the lactoferrin, one of the other components, is the PRP, the proline-rich polypeptides. These are the regulators. These are critically important in the case of, as I mentioned, something like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, multiple sclerosis, allergies, asthma. This is where the body is overreacting to something that it should not be reacting to, or it's attacking a tissue for no reason. For example, the multiple sclerosis, the body is actually attacking the myelin sheath for no reason. So this is a improper overreaction of the immune system that colostrum actually helps. There's no drug that does this. There's nothing like colostrum when it comes to some of these conditions. Transforming growth factors is the next thing. This is excellent for, it actually protects us against cancer, for one thing, which is probably our number 2 killer. But it's also extremely important for cellular and tissue repair. Now, our bodies are in constant state of healing themselves. Constant state of healing repair. Our bodies are designed to heal itself. But sometimes we need help. And colostrum, to me, is an absolutely, it's a perfect solution for that. Colostrum also contains a number of immunofactors, such as IgG. IgG is one of my favorites because I get to say the word phagocytosis. It's one of my favorite words. Phagocytosis is what the macrophages, one of our white blood cells, what they do is they run around the body like little Pac-Men, and they eat up things that don't belong there. So it could be a potentially cancerous cell, it could be a bacteria, virus, fungus, it could be anything that does not belong in the body. It is the immune system's job to go out there and find it and take care of it. And one of the ways that it does that is through phagocytosis. So the colostrum stimulates white blood cell activity, including phagocytosis. I said it 25 times now. So, everyone say phagocytosis. So, some of the interesting applications of colostrum that I have seen in my patients is right now we have an unbelievable amount of patients that I'm seeing have candida. This is a yeast overgrowth, and candida is one of the things that colostrum is able to take care of and kill, because our candida levels need to be in proper balance. And as I said, it's a balancer, it's a regulator, it's a supporter, so that's one of the things it can take care of. Also, leaky gut syndrome. This used to be associated with allergies. However, today we have a new problem. Genetically modified organisms. Genetically modified organisms are, they're like fake foods. Technology today has brought in bacteria and things that do not belong in our food. I believe that God created our food to be a certain way, and we don't need to be messing with it. We eat as much organic as possible, because I believe that's one of the things that we can do to get our food, our nutrient intake, as close to the way as God created it as possible, which is one of the exciting things to me about the Vela water, is it's not a processed water. It's simply trying to help the water get back to the way that God naturally created it, which is, of course, an alkaline water. Also, today we've got an aging population, lots of inflammatory conditions. So colostrum is excellent for any age, but especially the elderly, because simply the immune system does get wore out, does get tired out, and it's a way to support that immune system so they are more resistant to all the things in our environment. When we put things in our body, we basically have two choices. We can choose something that supports our health, alkaline water, organic food, being in peace, forgiving people, or we can, number two is, the other choice is to consume things that tear our health down. Things like unforgiveness, things like GMO foods, things like sugar, all the things that are literally poisoning us and tearing down our health. So I think I've covered